Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Music Box. I'm here with none other than Dark Joint, music producer. Thank you again for joining us.
Yeah,
and
pleasure.
Welcome to Music Box.
Thank you.
You've done a lot in your career. You've produced lots of tracks for many different artists. We wanted to know, what would you say is the career highlight?
Given I'm very ardent hip-hop head, at the time, this was 2001, working with Cannabis, because at the time he was like one of the hottest rapper. We were one of the few rapping groups at the time in the late 90s that was all about British accent and rapping in British accent. A UK rapper featuring one of the biggest rappers of all time. That kind of demonstrated that, so that was a career highlight for me.
What made you get into music producing? What made you think that this is definitely for me?
Just after I left school, I hooked up with a friend of mine called Leo Gilbert. Back then it was like you have an MC and a DJ. So it was like, okay, he was already the DJ, so I had no choice but to be the MC and start making our own beats. And Leo was scratching on the turntable and stuff. While I was going through that process, I started liking the idea of producing music. So when I moved to Canning Town and hanging out with those kids, when I was hearing them rap, it makes me want to shout out. So I was like, whoa, okay, I have to step my game up. Then I found myself making a lot of the beats. And then these kids would come in, I didn't want to rap anymore. I just want to hear them rap. They like the beats I was making.
Being from Canning Town in East London, do you think that had a major influence over your style?
Roughly around those times, it's like if you don't come from Brixton or around that area doing hip hop, it's like no one rates you. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you come from anywhere else, it's like no, you got to prove yourself to say, right, okay. So that had a lot of influence on me. So when I moved to East London, when I moved to Canning Town, hanging around with those guys kind of like showed me a different aspect. I would take things for granted. You have to really, really work at it to step your game up.
So what do you think were the greatest inspirations when you were growing up?
You know, going back to the 80s now, you know, growing up in that time, so it was whatever was happening in the charts. Those were my access to new music. So mainly Top of the Pops, the top 40. The musical inspiration part is mainly people like Jackson. But I can tell you the song that made me want to do music was the Downstairs Killer featuring Seal. That became more or less the bedrock of everything I do. It's like trying to capture that moment again when I had a piece of music and how it hit me, how it made me feel, that content, that emotional context. I've been chasing it ever since, and that's sort of like being the underlying factor of my music.
Well, you mentioned the 90s, and actually to come back to that, how would you say that your style has developed since then to make sure that it's still current?
It's all down to relevancy, because if you don't, then you sound yesterday. So for instance, give you some few names, like people like Quincy Jones, for instance. He took that jazz and he created something else. Dr. Dre, he innovated and he kept innovating to this day. You know, you have to move with the times in a sense. You keep your sound, that's very important too, because your sound is your identity, but you always have to push and innovate.
Tell us a little bit about what it was like for you and your team to get your big break.
We started working on Malachi's album, and Mel B got to hear the album, so it was like, whoa, who's that? And he told us, well, I'm working on this project with this guy who's my friend, and this is his artist. And she was like, no, that's hard. That's the people that we would like to have on the show. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because this sounds like it could take on anything the Americans are doing. So it's like, cool, get on the show. Mm-hmm. And all the doors just opened up after that.
How did Gem Toy Records come about, and what's the story behind that?
Malachi's first album, he tried to get it placed with record labels and stuff, but they didn't believe in it. So he thought, you know what, we could do this ourselves. The whole idea was to write songs and get them out to the world of media, to people who are interested in licensing those songs. He created Gem Toy Records as a platform to release the stuff that he was publishing. That eventually resulted in us having 2 top 40 hits at the time, which was just so unheard of. So Gentoid evolved from that.
Yeah.
It was only interested in music publishing, it wasn't interested in the label bit, but
Yeah.
it was born out of a necessity to release the stuff that we were doing at the time.
So is there anything new you're working on that you could tell us a little bit about?
Oh yes, I'm constantly working on something. We're starting up JPM Recordings as a digital platform. So Emmanuel's got a new single called Higher, because we've just done his EP. Currently, I've just done, as I mentioned earlier, a bunch of stuff for the Office Girls. They've got a song which came out yesterday. I've got another artist called Adama, and he's got a very unique sound. His project's quite exciting because we get to do something that's different, you know.
And then one last thing, is there any advice that you would have for hip-hop artists out there trying to make it
And just
big?
hip-hop, people with music,
People in music, yeah.
Um,
Anyone who wants to get into music.
If you want to get into music, just be determined that you have to put the work in. Perfect your craft. Spend a lot of time on it. The more time you spend on it, the more you get back from it. Be innovative. Come with different strategy. You just follow the crowd. Finally, have fun while doing it. Music is all about fun, man. So yeah, enjoy doing it.
That's great advice. Thank you again for doing the interview.
You're welcome.
That's You Have It.
Yeah.
Music producer. Dr.
Joint. Still here.
Yeah.
Keeping it going. See me soon. Peace.